This is a presentation on digital footprint for students. First of all, what is a digital footprint and why is it important? So this is where students will learn to protect their own privacy and respect the privacy of other students or other people. It is important for students to remember that with each post, you are building your digital footprint. So everything you post becomes part of your footprint, and it also becomes permanent. It will never go away. The things that you post will not ever go away. And learning about your digital footprint brings awareness to students' digital footprint, and it can also support digital literacy. So here's a quick video that I want to show you from the ISTE website that goes into a little bit more detail about your digital footprint.
Students cultivate and manage their digital identity and reputation and are aware of the permanence of their actions in the digital world.
We did what we call Restorative Justice Circle, and it's basically a form of sharing our feelings and our ideas. I've connected it to digital citizenship. We talked about how our actions have consequences. So when you hurt somebody online, it stays there. You know, it could stay there forever.
It's important because in real life you get to talk to them face to face, and on the computer you're just facing a screen. But they're still saying what they want to say on a device.
One thing that we can do is be appropriate online. That would be a good rule, right? The students went online and they wrote their actual rule that they come up with to protect their digital footprint. And then, of course, then we moved into sharing and liking and replying to other people's comments. Practice being a good digital citizen and say something nice about their rule. I mean, I think from last year, a lot of them already knew, like, no, Ms. Garcia, I'll never give my name. I don't post pictures. When I started teaching, I never thought I would be teaching things like this. But, I mean, we are teaching the leaders of the world. But I'm glad I'm part of it because I want to be part of that change.
Okay, so one of the things that stood out the most in that video is when you're talking to somebody online, treat it just as though you were talking to them face to face. Just because you're typing words onto a screen doesn't mean that there's not another person behind the other screen that's reading it. They still have feelings, and you must learn to talk to them online just as if you were talking to them in person. So why teach it? Why do you need to learn it? Why do I need to teach it? Through the teaching of about the digital footprint, it helps students or helps you become aware of what your digital footprint is and what that contains. It also helps you determine what information you should or should not be sharing, and it could change depending on the audience. We also want to create a culture of sharing, and with that, we want you to become aware of the harmful effects of oversharing. And lastly, we want you to learn to respect the privacy of others. So how can our footprint affect our relationships? So you must realize how your actions affect your footprint. I know I've said it, but it is very important to understand how, even though you think you may delete something, it can still be retrieved at a later date. It will never go away. And most importantly, just think before you speak, or in this case, type, because those words have a lasting effect, and it could eventually damage a relationship with friends or a future employer or school. So just make sure you think about what you say before you type it, especially typing, because that's something that can be pulled up at any time by employers or school administrators, because it is permanent and never goes away. And here is a video on friendships and boundaries when it comes to how you can talk to each other online, and how those relationships online are affected by your in-person relationships. So we are fixing to do a lesson, and the first question I have is, what does it mean to be safe? And there are 3 different types of websites that I want you to know about. The first type of website is a green website, and a green website is a good site for kids your age to visit. They are fun with things for you to do and see. It has appropriate words, and it doesn't let you talk to people that you don't know. Those are all things that would be a green website. A yellow website is a site that you're just not sure if it is right for you. It's one that may ask for information such as who you are, where you live, your phone number or email address. And it is also a place where you are allowed to communicate freely with others. And lastly, the red website is a website that is not right for you. It's a place you might have gone to by accident, and it's filled with things that are for older kids or adults. So, in this classroom, we want to stay within the green websites. Things that you know that you're supposed to look at. Okay, so now we are going to break into our groups, and we are going to try to find out as much information as we can about Mizzle the mouse and Electra the elephant. I have 2 different sets of animal tracks, one set for Mizzle the mouse and one set for Electra. And with your groups, you are going to follow their tracks, follow their footprints. And these animals decided that it would be fun to put some information about themselves online. The only problem is they forgot to ask their parents if it was okay first. So, you're going to be from a detective agency, and an evil hunter has hired you to find out as much information as possible about Mizzle the mouse and Electra the elephant. The more the detectives learn, the better for their plan to take over the animal kingdom. So I'm going to put you into groups of 4, and each group is going to have a detective that will keep our detailed notes. So you're going to go on a hunt for information. And this information that you're going to find can be seen by anyone, including the detectives. So you're going to follow the digital trail of both animals, starting with the mouse and then the elephant. I'm going to start you off at different times so everybody doesn't get the information all at once. And you're going to get your handout that I've already given you, and you're going to fill it out as you go through, and make sure you have a detective who is going to keep your detailed notes. So I'm going to set this timer for 20 minutes and let you see who gives off the most information. Okay, so who did you find is being safe? Which animal was being safe? Mizzle the mouse or Electra the elephant? Yes, it was Mizzle the mouse. Electra the elephant gave off tons of information, including her name, her address, information about her email address. She was not a safe internet user. So therefore, Electra the elephant did give us more information. Everybody online was able to find out tons of information about Electra. So what information is okay to share and what information is not okay to share? It's okay for you to share information on social media about what your interests are, or your favorite foods, or your hobbies, and even your first name is okay to share. But we do not want to share our address. Never tell anybody online where you live. Don't tell them your full name. And don't tell them information that could hurt others. That is not being a good digital citizen. And I have another quick little video for you to watch about your digital footprint.
Use your head to hold your hat, and your smarts will tell you where you're at, and to think about the zoo, and to nod hello to you and you. Use your head when you're online, to keep what's yours inside your mind, and to know how to be safe, how to give your life some private space. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online. Use your heart to grow and grow, and to give yourself a healthy glow, and to make a Valentine, and tell someone that you'll be mine. Use your heart when you're online, to feel what's right and always kind, to show your friends respect, to be fair and nice on the internet. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online. Use your arms to hug a pet, and to keep your clothes from getting wet, and to wear your favorite sleeves, and to help you fly and make believe. Use your arms when you're online, to take a break and balance time, and to leave your tech behind, and to find yourself a tree to climb. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online. Use your gut to store your food, and to listen to its growling mood, and to make a belly flop, and to feel the gas inside a pop. Use your gut when you're online, and know to watch for certain signs, and to let it guide the way, tell you when it's not okay. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online. So think with your head, and feel with your heart, balance with your arms, listen to your gut online. Use your legs to run and kick, and to jump and bounce on a pogo stick, and to dance around the block, and to skip along in your smelly socks. Use your legs when you're online, and stand up to bullies who cross the line, and remember to stand tall. Be nice to creatures great and small. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online. So think with your head, and feel with your heart, balance with your arms, listen to your gut, stand up with your legs. From your head down to your toes, pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose, pause and think online.
Alright, so wrapping up, the things that I want you to know is that information can be spread rapidly on the internet. Your decision to post a funny picture or a comment can resurface years later. And something that you send to a friend can easily be shared with thousands of people. So even if you mean it to be funny and you send it to a friend, if that friend shares it with somebody else, then it can come back to haunt you later in life. So just be careful with what you share with people, even if that's people that you think are your friends, because false information can be spread quickly. And finally, be careful, like I've said, be careful who you share your information with, and keep important information private, because once you post anything online, it becomes public and permanent. Anybody can go back and find it after you post it. And use the internet responsibly. It is a great tool and can be used for so many wonderful things, as long as we know how to use it correctly. And keeping yourself safe is our most important goal.